Hey there, guys. This is Flamzeron, aka YouTube's Tasuke, and I saw an awesome movie, Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods, in theaters, English dubbed. Well, I watched it originally subtitled on the internet with my roommate Troy from college, so I got a little bit of a sneak peek. But I tried to kind of make sure I saved enough of my excitement for the actual English release as well, because we all knew they were going to do it. But I saw it with AJ a few weeks ago, or rather 2 weeks ago. But I decided I'm going to give my thoughts on it, and I've already talked about it on my podcast, so that's sort of my rule now. I can only talk about stuff until after I've talked about it on my podcast. But yeah, this movie was great. Like, it's an awesome movie. I'm just going to go and say 10 out of 10. What I really liked about it, the animation was very beautiful. You know, a lot of people really want like that new Dragon Ball animation. You know, the stuff that kind of looks like the stuff they do in the games. You know, more people wish they had that. And here's friggin' 2 to 3 episodes worth of it. Like, this is like a full feature length movie, like a good hour or so. And you know, because I watched it subtitled, I have a better idea of like the translation and whatnot. I know early on people called Beerus Bills or beers. It really depends. I think most people are going to go with beers now. But I mean, in terms of people who just want to go against Funimation because that's what you do. But in the dub they call them beers, which I think works. Chris Sabat mentioned in a tweet that, you know, the reason it was closer to the Japanese and it was also more searchable than beers, because if you type in beers, you're gonna find beer. You know, you're not gonna find Beerus, and I think Beerus works well because, from what I understand, like the pun behind Beerus's name was virus, but Akira Toriyama mistook it as beers, and so they ultimately combined the two, which I think works well. I think Beerus works out about as best as it ever could. And Whis, you know, that's obviously whiskey, but the dub itself was actually pretty good. I watched it in Japanese first, like I said, so I mean, I still saw the stuff that was funny, but I feel like it was a lot funnier in English, because, you know, I feel like jokes are funnier when they're in your language and you don't have to read it. I mean, as a writer, I do get more emotional. I feel like I have a more emotional sensory to written text than I probably should, but in English it was a lot funnier, and from what I noticed, they didn't like punch up anything. Like, for Funimation standards, oh boy, if you read my blog, take a look at the feature diary section, because that I'm not pleased. But Funimation really did a good job with their dub here. It's for the most part, it's, well, I mean, I want to say it's Kai cast, but I mean, a lot of the characters who are in it haven't even appeared in Kai yet. But the people who were in Kai originally, you know, they return. Monica Rial is still Bulma. She does a good job. I feel like she does a much better job than she did in Kai, and personally, I think she did an okay job in Kai. Sean Shammel's Goku, I think, was spot on. Vegeta, Chris Sabat's Vegeta, I think, was also spot on. I think everyone did such a good job. Android 18 is back to what's her name? Android 18's original English voice actor is back. She only speaks for like one line and a few grunts, but I think she did a really good job. It wasn't like very low. It was still a feminine voice, and they probably told her, hey, we're going to bring you back, but try to kind of go along with what we did for Kai. And who knows, maybe she watched it, I don't know. She's also apparently a singer, which I think is kind of cool. Trunks and Goten, I felt like, were more natural. I felt like they did a much better job, personally, than in the original, because I just feel like they did a better job, honestly. I feel like their voices were more natural. It was still the same people, but you know, Meredith McCoy is the actress of Android 18. And of course, Beerus, for those who want to know, is Jason Douglas, who was Hyoga in Saint Seiya, as well as Duke in the Vesperia movie, because Funimation dubbed that. And Whis is Ian Sinclair. Kyle Abe returns as Ox King and Gohan, apparently the narrator, even though I don't remember the narrator talking. But he did a good job as well. I feel like he did a good job with capturing Gohan's more softer nature than Goku. And I feel like this movie kind of made me like Gohan a little bit. I'm slowly starting to kind of get on the Gohan hype bandwagon a little bit. At first, I didn't really like him as much. But I like the adult version of Gohan, like future Gohan and then this Gohan. And I like how they had it to where his ultimate form, his mystic form, or whatever you want to call it, was a transformation and not just like a permanent power-up. I actually kind of like that they changed that. I thought they did a good job. The overall designs of the characters who return, like Goku, he wears his usual gi, but he's got like the symbols on it. I like that, yet at the same time I don't like it because I feel like there's a lot of symbolism and representation in the character's gi. And I feel like putting the symbols on Goku's new gi, where instead of a belt, it's like a waistband thing, kind of takes away from the fact that while Goku has been trained by a few different masters, he's ultimately just training himself and just continuing to... It's like being a student after graduating from college and you're just like doing research somewhere. It's kind of like that. Like you're not really being brought up by any school right now. You're just kind of doing your own research. Vegeta, I like the Saiyan armor. I mean, obviously they did that to give him a more iconic look. I also like the sleeveless sort of leotard thingy. I know a lot of people are probably gonna think, why do you like that? Well, the reason why I like that is because to me it kind of represents that Vegeta is not being just completely held down by his Saiyan pride anymore. Like, even though he still wears like the Saiyan gloves and boots and like a similar like leotard thing, like he's not wearing the Saiyan armor, which is like in my opinion the defining trait to Vegeta's outfit. For the new people who came in, like Beerus, he was fun. I mean, Beerus and Whis, Jason Douglas and Ian Sinclair, respectively, who I actually met Ian Sinclair. He's pretty cool. They were brought in from Battle of Z, and they did a good job. Like, if you look at interviews, like pre-Battle God interviews, like they were talking about like how we cast Chris Evans said, I casted these people in mind for the movie. If they can do like all the movie stuff, then they're good. Like essentially, like he wanted to be able to use them again. And speaking of like the interviews, like they really hyped this movie up. Like as soon as like word got out that Funimation was dumbing it, there was just like hype. There was a little Dragon Ball Z Legacy like timeline thing, and I hope they included on like I hope there's a longer version included on like the Blu-ray or DVD, because I actually really enjoyed watching it. It kind of brought me back to the old days of when Dragon Ball Z was on TV, and it's about to get back on TV on Toonami with Kai, Uncut Kai. That's really cool. I think in September or something. But yeah, all the jokes were really funny. Everyone I feel like had a little moment. Like I feel like it did everything that a Dragon Ball fan would want. I know IGN said some things about it, but I thought it was decently paced. It had a lot of humor, like the scene with King Kai trying to explain to Goku about Beerus, and they're in his car and they're driving, but of course because there's only one road on King Kai's planet, it's like they're just going in a circle. And then when Trunks is like, I kind of told my mom that you're my girlfriend. Will you be my girlfriend? Pretend. And of course, that was hard on my voice. My voice is actually kind of hoarse. Pilaf, he was like, you want me to be your girlfriend? I was like, that's so funny. And of course, it's and I found that it makes me kind of wonder what their future will be like, if they're actually gonna hook them. And it's kind of funny because she didn't hide the fact that she's in a kid body. I feel like this is sort of like them kind of making fun of GT a little bit. But of course here it's just for the humor. And Gohan gets drunk. That's pretty funny. Vegeta's bingo song was great. Oh, really? This movie was just super, super good. My favorite scene in the entire movie is when, it's after Goku is gone Super Saiyan God, and Beerus is, and they're duking out, and Goku gets out of Super Saiyan God, and then Beerus is all like shooting energy blasts at him, and then Goku's punching against walls, and he gets like brought in, but then he's like, I won't let you destroy my world! And he goes Super Saiyan and like starts going through like the rocks and like breaking through, and then the theme song "Hero" by Flo starts playing. It's so cool. And it's the English international version. They also use the English version of "Chala Head Chala" in the credits. But so, which makes me wonder how they're gonna handle Dragon Ball Z Kai, because I'm aware about how like the international version is apparently higher quality. But yeah, it's really interesting what they're gonna do with that. You know, the regular music, I feel like it's a nice mix of it feels like a more modern, less electronic sounding Bruce Faulkner. Like I almost feel like it's what the Bruce Faulkner music should have been. Because although I like the Bruce Faulkner music, you know, I felt like it was a little out of place because it sounded really kind of like electronic, and it just sounded like they just kind of threw it in. And like it had some good tracks though, like, you know, the Trunks theme song, Super Saiyan Goku 3 obviously, but and of course I also like Kenji Yamamoto's music, and I'm not real big on the Kikuji score. Like there are only a few tracks that I like, but anyway, and then of course there's the big thing about with Goku and how, you know, because in order to become a Super Saiyan God, you have to get, I think, 6 Saiyans to give their energy to the Saiyan, then the other Saiyan becomes a Super Saiyan God. And, you know, I can understand why Goku wouldn't be too happy about it. Like, he says, you know, it feels incredible, but, like, you know, he hates how, like, it's really, like, something that he won't ever be able to attain, at least not without help. Like, he feels like he didn't really earn it. He feels like he's happy to have his friends help him, but he feels like that he didn't really earn it. He didn't really do it himself. I mean, the only reason why he did it was because he needed to defeat Beerus. Throughout the movie, he's saying, you know, he doesn't think he'll be able to beat Beerus, which is kind of interesting, seeing Goku have some, not be as confident as he usually is. But of course, Beerus is super strong. I kind of like that about Beerus. I kind of like that in the Dragon Ball universe, in this world with superhuman people with like really powerful characters. We have this one character who's supposed to be like the strongest character, period. Of course, they reveal that Whis is actually stronger, but and of course, you know, Goku. But then, like near the end, you know, Goku, he actually becomes Super Saiyan God. Near the end of the movie, he transforms into it by himself. And the reason why he starts doing better with Beerus is that, you know, once he turns Super Saiyan after going out of Super Saiyan God, you know, his body kind of just tasting, you know, that power, like his body and like and power was able to kind of like absorb some of it, and like, okay, this is what it's like, because the power was still, the power I think was mostly his, obviously, but. And then he goes Super Saiyan God afterwards. And so I feel like at that point he could probably do it by himself if he really needed to. Obviously, it's probably going to be the hardest transformation he'll ever do, even more powerful than Super Saiyan 3 or 4. Like, it's clearly the most powerful. And its design is pretty cool with all that red and whatnot. I can understand why some people wouldn't like it, because it's not really that flashy. Like, I would have done at least where he had like the Super Saiyan hair, but it was like the same kind of color. I understand why they didn't do that, but... and then of course, you know, at the end, you know, Goku doesn't defeat Beerus. I'd argue, or like not in the actual battle. Like Beerus is about to shoot all of them and kill everyone and blow up the earth, but then he shifts his finger and shoots it like a little rock. It's because he's used up all of his energy. So I feel like Goku won like the moral battle, or sort of like he defeated the evil, I guess. He didn't defeat Beerus, but he defeated he won in some way, I guess, is really what it comes down to. So he won in some way. I feel like with this movie, it gives Dragon Ball fans what they want, but also makes them think a little bit and gives them something different. And when I went to the theaters, you know, it was pretty big. There was even a guy wearing the same, like, I wore the orange Goku Gi shirt, and someone else had the same shirt. I was like, no shirt. I'm like, yeah, you have a cool shirt too, buddy. And there was big people. AJ went, like, he liked it. Stan, my buddy Dream Sword, he also saw it. It was a sexy movie. Like I said, 10 out of 10. It was, there was nothing I didn't like about the movie, and if there is, I don't remember. But dang, was it good. Like, damn! But, I can't really think of anything else to say I'm kind of starving, so I need food and nourishment, like some Tauros meat or something. Lol. But yeah, really great movie, and it's apparently doing really well. It grossed like 2.2 million, I think, last time I checked, and it got an extra screening on Tuesday. So if you haven't seen it, hopefully you saw it, and if not, I'm sure they'll push it out on DVD. Like, I remember they pushed out Frozen on DVD super quickly. I'm just like, wow. But yeah, Battle of Gods. Awesome, awesome, awesome movie. Definitely go see it or watch it in some way if you ever get the chance. But yeah, this is Flamzaron, aka YouTube Sasuke, signing out. See you later.